Patriot, Cultivator streaming. We've got an epic 3v3 here lined up today. As soon as I can get everything to work. Computer's acting a little stupid apparently. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry it's taken so long. I have been working on getting game content. So I have not been uploading as much. Let's see here, we got our stream going. We are right now in the middle of our strategy and upkeep. Never mind. We're in the middle of our strategy of where we're going to go, what we're going to do, who's going where. Got myself playing 10th Corps. We've got Utopia playing the AOP 1862, and Chaotic Battle over here playing as 17th Corps. No, didn't fall off the edge of the world. I've been hardcore working on getting more game content, and I've been pretty heavily focused on my private ARC server lately, so I've been very busy with that, with recruiting, getting new blood in. I still don't think I'm going to be streaming ARC as much as I had wanted to. I'll probably stream the live events, the PvP events, but I've actually been playing this a lot, getting more content. I've probably got 8 videos I need to prep for upload. And then with the remodel of the house, I ended up not having my computer hardlined. I was running wireless, and it just brutalized my connection speed. So I finally got hardwired again, so now I can upload to YouTube. How have you been, Mab? It's good to see you. How's life treating you? And again, we're just sitting here contemplating what all we're going to do. Utopia is first Corps, so he's a... No, actually, Chaotic Battles was first Corps, and Utopia was 17th Corps. Apologies for that. I'm playing a 10th Corps. Trying to remember... Let's see here. That's all good. Still waiting on my computer to get back to me, getting ready for a new EA Soccer game. Ooh, new EA Soccer. Hell yes. The battle is not started just yet. We're still setting up. I've got my mortars getting ready to go in. My heavy artillery getting placed, and right now, you know, we're contemplating where everything should be, and my mortars being placed right here actually gives me one hell of a long line of sight, and I can fire more than halfway across the map into these trees. And we were expecting heavy resistance in these trees. We'd planned on them marching up, and a lot of this field of battle here is all trees, so we knew a lot of battle was going to be in the trees. So me lining up right here and bearing down on this 3-pointer was what we wanted to do mostly with the mortars. So what we did is everybody stacked up on the right thinking we were going to swing around and envelop them. I went far left, walked right through this 1-point, and continued pushing slowly to this 2-pointer. I never got into soccer, Mab, but I know a lot of people that do like it. My son used to love playing it. When is your computer going to be returned? I know you was having a lot of issues with warranty. I'm hoping they get that back to you quickly. I'm still dying to do our Napoleon campaign together. I'm actually getting ready to start a new campaign on Empire, and I will actually be playing the Brits for a change. Instead of taking revenge and attacking them, I'm going to play as the Brits. As you can see, I'm stacking up my my lines now. We've pretty much got everything decided And anybody who plays this mod, especially multiplayer, knows it does take a little bit of time to get everything situated, set up, and we like to make sure everybody is ready prior to hitting that ready button. I don't know, they just said waiting on parts. That was Wednesday. They're waiting on parts? For God's sakes, you think they'd have that shit in stock. Let's see here. I have not moved my general yet. I could have sworn I had 3 cannon. Maybe I am wrong. Okay, maybe I did only have 3 cannon and I let one of my partners grab another. Initial sight for me was to march all my troops through this forest and take this cannon and place it up here on this road so I'd have a nice field of fire. 2nd Carolina, I wanted to kind of leave towards the rear to protect against Cav, and this little itty-bitty Marine battalion of 7 men had huge morale. Okay, we've officially started. They had huge morale, great accuracy, but you know, I knew they were going to die quickly. I typically use my skirms as a scouting force, as I don't run a lot of Cav. I did leave my general farther over here to make them think we were more clustered. But here they go, the beautiful march of the 10th Corps. 502 men. Man, that was a massive unit. My 2nd Carolina is going to take position on this 1 point and hold. So I have officially got full mobilization at this point, excluding the general, which, again, I like to sometimes, not always, leave my general over here to let them think that we are clustered when we're really not. Now, looking back, probably what I should have done was taken this road to march my men twice the quickness, but it's okay. And right about here, I'm realizing, you know, hey, my cannon's going to walk right into these troops and it's going to screw them up. There is a glitch with the Patriot rifles. Your units, when they're unlumbered, will drag the cannons. We don't know why. They are working on it, so I did not want to risk unlumbering my cannons and letting my infantry drag them across the field. So I do stop them here briefly. And I did not want to walk through this open field, as all these rocks were going to be in the way. Here very soon, these mortars are going to open fire. Let's go ahead and see what our allies are doing. I didn't get much chance to watch my team. Okay, so it looks like Utopia is marching straight through the forest and going to try to cap this 2 point. Chaotic is marching his troops probably to this road to cover this position here to the left of Utopia. And we're going to pretty much ignore this huge open center, as we didn't want cannon volley just beating the dog shit out of us. Utopia is moving into the open with his cannon, though. I think he's going to take this small little hill. A nice position for cannons to take place. And of course, the mortars being fixed, we're not moving them any. So yeah, I guess I did not stop my cannons. They are still just marching, but it's alright. They're not being drug. Okay, there you go. I instituted a hard right. I saw that they were going to get hung up, so yeah, we're going to move them up to here. As you can see, I am placing a couple reserve units back here in the rear to quickly march them anywhere they might be needed on the map in case the enemy comes straight through the center. I've got 8 good regiments moving into the forest with 1 unit. This 2nd South Carolina is going to come up here and hold this 1 pointer, and I am moving my skirms straight through the forest as a scouting party. Skirms are great for scouting if you don't have Cav. Utopia is moving all his skirms on the far right flank, along with his Cav. Some small Cav, but still, nonetheless, good Cav. Good stats. Looks like he's setting all of his cannon up to try to get a good field of fire. Oh, and here we go. We've got enemy skirms coming into place. This would be Warboss. No, that was not Warboss. That would have either been Rum or Ham and Eggs. Now I do see that with my mortars, and I'm contemplating open fire. But Chaotic advised me not to. We didn't want to give up our position right off the rip. Now let's see what's back here. We've got the army of Vicksburg here with their general. Oh, and we have some artillery getting spotted over here by my skirms, who have a insane line of sight, which is just redunculously far, especially considering they are in a forest. But now they've seemed to have gotten hidden. Warboss's general's back here as I am facing him. And at this point, everybody knows where everybody's at. And I was being advised to be very cautious against Warboss. He is a great player. And right here, we've got some cannons right in that tree line where we thought they were going to be. So I do open fire with my mortars on this howitzer as soon as we see them. Because the first thing I wanted to do was clear cannons. And that's why I brought mortars, to target down cannons and men as quickly as I could. Now, the mortar's accuracy isn't as great as some of my other cannons, but that's okay. It looks like my cannons are finally starting to get into line, and I am marching those 2 reserve units to back my cannon, just in case they're doing something sneaky. Chaotic is seeing that the enemies are coming here, so he is moving his cannons accordingly. Here comes Warboss's 3rd Corps. And look at all these men just coming out of the tree line. Now, I've already opened fire with my mortars once. And I do keep my graphics down, so you will not see the dead bodies on the field or the craters like you do in some of these other people's videos. I do apologize for that, but I don't want my computer to die. So, I see Warboss coming in, and I'm just going to keep marching. I want to make sure where everybody's at prior to doing some kind of hard shift. Warboss is moving a lot of his cannons into this forest to give his men some protection. What's the matter? Sorry about that. I am the streaming dad. My kid came up and asked me a quick question. We are back at it. Got a lot of skirms here. It looks like Chaotic has seen that and pulled his men back, and he is quickly moving some men up. The 90th Pennsylvania moving in to kind of counter some of that. We're going to go all over the map for a few minutes. Warboss is moving his skirms up. I see his skirms. I'm pulling my skirms back now because there are only 7 men. It's mostly a scouting party I'm using them for, and I have started to reform my lines into a double line. And instead of 4 and 4, now I'm pushing 3 in the center with 5 in the rear, so I know where to shift. I believe, yep, this cannon has just opened fire, and they are directly targeting his skirms. Nope, they are directly targeting his cannon. The biggest thing was I wanted a cannon v cannon immediately before he got his cannon set up. And as you can see, yeah, Warboss's cannons are already targeting my 20-pound parrots. Kind of a scary thing. He has more damage, but pound for pound, we're in great placement. Chaotic is already starting to break the skirms, but more are coming up. Army of Vicksburg's pushing very, very nicely, going ahead and getting their lines set up. However, Utopia is just kind of holding the rear, waiting to see what's going to happen. Probably the best tactic he had at the time. I like that tactic. As you can see, Chaotic's filling in a little bit of this gap as well. Utopia is marching 4 good units up to solidify the right-hand side of Chaotic with reserves in the rear, but he is slowly moving them up too. We didn't know where everybody was immediately. So we did this pretty slow. And now my men are starting to finally get into their formations. And there it is, the opening volley is 76 Pennsylvania. Just starting to try to shred some of these skirms down. Now I know if his skirms are there, he's got men close by. And I want the position he has. He has got a very good position. But I do know that I have more men than Warboss. So I'm going to slowly inch my men up. God, it's so loud. Let's take a look. We're not missing too much now. The skirms up here in the center are starting to get evaporated. And Chaotic's going to go ahead and move his cannons on up and get them set up and be ready to fire. He's got a fucking amazing line of sight over there. However, Warboss has destroyed most of the men in this cannon crew. 8 of 24 remain. I will take that loss because I'm starting to cave on his I'm starting to cave in his line of skirms over here. And again, a lot of skirms over here starting to crumble. It's a great thing to see, but they are only skirms, so you know it's not necessarily a win or anything to huzzah about. That was a great mortar hit. I am firing my mortars at whatever clumps of men that I can find. Now here very soon, when Warboss's men come into my clear line of sight, I am going to start hammering everything I can. Now, I'm not worried yet. Chaotic's not worried yet. Chaotic's going to fill in the gap on my right-hand side. And our original plans were to stretch from this tree line and hold the center and pretty much in one great big line. Just hold. Oh, there goes my skirms. The poor 7 men. 3 are going to get out of there with their lives. That's okay. These skirms are going to chase them down. I did not expect that. Those skirms kind of proved to be a little bit of a nuisance for me. So I quickly try to move the 13th Indiana. And I was told, you know, hey, you should probably watch your mortars. Them skirms might try to swing around. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and pull my 4th New Hampshire on back. Pulling 4th New Hampshire back also gave protection to 1st Corps cannons. So it was kind of a double good thing to do. Now my cannon crew's already gone, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this 169th New York on up and have them as a backup. And of course, these skirms kind of skirted right past my men. I was in the middle of microing my mortars right now because Warboss's men have officially arrived on the battlefield. And right now, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't exactly love my positioning, but I am on a slight hill, which means I'm firing pretty well. I wish I would have moved some men a little quicker. As you can see, I'm moving my men up. And I'm also pulling the 13th Indiana up to cover this flank because I know I've got this unit back here. Now I see these skirms coming back, and 1st Corps cannons are going to be in some danger. And he knew it too, so I'm going to try to quickly get this 4th New Hampshire up. However, let's go on back to this fight. His skirms are starting to come back. I'm not worried about his skirms at this point as much as I am his cannons. So I am focusing all my mortars into this clump of men. But yeah, so far that's where we're at. I am moving this 2nd South Carolina to try to skirt for those skirms which have just recently popped back up. And these skirms are so fast that it takes a hot minute for my men to catch them. Doesn't look like they've realized their skirms have came back into play. And 1st Corps cannons are just hanging around. I've lost 1 unit, 2 units off the field so far. Oh my god, it is so loud. We're just going to turn that volume down a bit so I can actually hear myself talk and think. Warboss is moving his men straight into my face. And I am worried because everybody's telling me, watch Warboss. He is extremely deadly. So I'm going very, very slow. I'm not wanting to push. Chaotic's over here, truing up his lines. Looks like he's got some good flanking action with the 90th Pennsylvania on, I believe this was Ham and Eggs. Got an amazing firing line going. Alrighty, we're moving some reinforcements over. It looks like he's pulling 4 units over to cover my flank because I'm going to start getting flanked by these skirms, and he knows it. So he is marching units over, and we are all in a Discord chat right now talking and during the game. And my Discord decided to no longer work. I could hear everything everybody was saying to me, and no one could hear me. So I am in the middle of playing and texting Chaotic at the same time as I'm playing. I'm fortifying my lines up, and he's telling me, just hold. I'm marching reinforcements over right now. So Chaotic is moving all of these reinforcements over, and the skirms are starting to notice this, so they're going to start volley firing immediately, which, that's fine. He's realized these skirms have came back, and that's going to start giving the cannon some issues. It looks like we've had 2nd Illinois Cav of Utopia breaking, and the mortars are still just hounding Warboss's position. And I'm noticing these skirms, and there's not a whole lot I can do because they are fast. So I'm going to march this unit, the 2nd South Carolina, back up to the one spot, and I've got this 4th New Hampshire. Unfortunately, this pathfinding was stupid wonky. I was trying to march them down and around, but for some reason they decided to go this way, and I didn't catch it because I was in the middle of a battle. But as you can see, my lines are floundering a bit, but not terrible. Warboss has just got men constantly, and I am clicking non-stop, firing here, firing there, doing this, doing that. I've got mortars, and that's it. No other cannon on the battlefield. And I am genuinely worried. But, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 reinforcements coming from Chaotic right now. And I keep hearing him, hey, don't worry, don't worry. I'm going to come true you up. I'm going to come help you. So I was not concerned. I had good positioning. I am hammering Warboss down heavily. Between my mortars and my men, I have numbers. All I'm doing right now is sitting and waiting. That's all I have to do now. Warboss's skirms, they're starting to run. They know my mortars are sitting ducks. There's nothing I can do right now. And those mortars are the only thing keeping Warboss's men back here at bay. And those mortars are getting hella good hits. And every time I'm seeing a clump, every time I see a clump like this, I'm redirecting my fire. It is non-stop micro, clicking everywhere. I've still got 3 regiments in reinforcement here. I'm marching my general up to support my line because they are starting to waver a bit. Having that general up there is going to really, really help me. I focused pretty heavily on this one-pointer, and I probably didn't need to. Where'd them skirms go? Anyway, I pulled off some funny, wonky shit right here, and I ended up killing off these skirms. They routed from the battlefield. I targeted that skirm with both these mortars, did one volley, and instantly broke them. I don't think they've broken yet because I'm still marching the 4th New York. Yep, there they are. But we know what's going to happen to them, so we're not going to worry. As you can see, the skirms are taking damage. Chaotic is moving his 12-pounder Napoleons, which are just devastating to infantry. He's moving them right up and getting on this hill to do some crossfire volley. Thank you so much for that. And I go ahead and stretch out my entire line. I'm pulling all of my men back. Still not the best positioning that I ever had, but I'm pulling them up, trying to bait Warboss to follow me so Chaotic can get some hella good flanking fire. It didn't work the way I'd hoped. Warboss has seen it, and he is slowly marching reinforcements over to counter the counter of Chaotic. Chaotic's got plenty of reserves, and these men have terribly good stats. They are smaller units, but they have stats, and I am just holding. I'm going to keep holding my line. Now, what worries me at this point is I've got all of my men right here in one long, drawn-out line. Warboss is not even focused on me right now. He's just going to hammer me with his cannons and shift most of his men over here to worry about Chaotic. He still has men facing me. Oh, look at those mortar strikes. Yeah, baby. Give us the cannon fire. But Warboss is shifting more heavily towards Chaotic. That didn't sit well with me. I didn't like that. Chaotic was doing most of the heavy lifting for me, and I didn't think that that was too terribly fair on him, especially when he is facing 2 cores. As you can see, he's facing Warboss and Rum. I'm almost positive that's Rum. It's either Rum or Ham. Those two are brothers. Very nice guys. I played with them a lot. Let's jump over here real quick and check out how Utopia is faring against the army of Vicksburg. Great positioning. Love the positioning. Vicksburg's lining up. We've got multiple lines. Plenty of reinforcements with Utopia, so he's doing great. Look at the thick lines. They had a lot more men than what I had thought. It looks like Chaotic is shifting his men, making a clear line of sight for his 12-pound parrots. However, his parrots are getting fired on pretty heavily by Vicksburg and Army of Manassas. Oh, never mind. I didn't realize that. So yeah, I didn't realize I lost that mortar. I really didn't. So the skirms decided to melee attack my mortar, which those may come back. Maybe not. I did not even realize that had happened. Wow. Looking back on replays, it's nuts. Quickly sending the 4th to counter that. Don't worry, I get my payback. Those guys, they leave the field of battle, never to return. Anyway, back up to the meat of the battle. Warboss is forming 2 separate lines. And at this point, I'm pretty much told by Chaotic, 10th Corps, push. Push now, push hard. I'm going to fortify right here and cover his flank because I still have pretty healthy, strong lines. The chevrons of the cannons back here are insane. Units are chevroning. Again, insane. I've got no chevrons yet. I don't typically put chevrons on my men. I earn them. And these skirms are actually chasing them down. Did not realize that in game. I was all over the place. However, they're going to slowly start to break. They do eventually leave the battlefield. I'm really genuinely surprised I did not remember that. But I mean, this battle was so insane, and I already know that they're going to break and run off the field. So I'm marching my 4th back up to where the bulk of the fight is. And as you can see, now we are really starting to push. I ended up accidentally grabbing my general and putting him in the front line, so I noticed that and pulling back immediately. I do not want my general in the front line getting sniped. And these skirms, they actually did a really good job charging down my howitzers, or my mortars. I'll give them credit on that. Way to go, Warboss. That was a hell of a good strat. Especially since I didn't even notice it until the damned replay. But here we are. I refortify my line. I link up with Chaotic. And again, Chaotic can't hear me. I can hear him. I can hear Utopia. They have no idea that I'm listening to them. I'm hearing them. I'm trying to quickly text Chaotic during the fight. I still have my one good mortar though. So I am constantly using it. And right now, I'm fixated right here on my mortars because there's just juicy targets. Look at that hit right there. Perfect timing, creating a crater and men flying. I love it. And I'm biting nails right now because I'm being told by everybody, watch out for Warboss. He is one of the best players. 4 chevrons on this unit. 4 chevrons already. 20 minutes into the battle. 4 chevrons. Mortars are so extremely deadly. Let's jump over and check out Utopia's point of view. Utopia is doing mega damage, but he's starting to slowly dwindle down. The army of Vicksburg is actually really good. And his front lines are caving just from the massive amount of hits he's taken. Looks like First Corps is actually going to fall back. Probably not the worst idea ever because they've still got tons of troops ready to throw at First Corps. And First Corps is kind of starting to get sandwiched. He's getting some hammer and anvil done. He's taking heavy cannon fire. And now all of these units are going to come start shooting him in the back. Not good. Not good. Chaotic's going to start suffering some mega damage. So I'm trying to quickly march every single unit I have up here to reinforce because we know. Where'd that unit go from? Why'd he route? Oh, heavy cannon fire. That was one of the best shots I'd seen the entire game. They took such a heavy volley just marching up. Look at that. And that was from Warboss. Warboss's cannons just chewed me up for a minute here. As you can see, though, they are slowly breaking. Thank God Chaotic came in. What was that? I believe that's a cav unit. Nope, that is not a cav unit. That's just standard military. He was able to sweep around and get a unit back here to take care of Warboss's cannons, which was the greatest thing in the world to me at that time because that genuinely really helped me. These skirms are just sitting here resting up because they were exhausted. And after being in hand-to-hand with my mortars, they did heavy damage. Now, Warboss is getting tired. Most of the units I'm throwing against him right now were fresh and hadn't seen combat, so now that I've got a whole line stretched, it's time to start sweeping and wrapping. I see Chaotic up here with his units, and the only thing I know to do, go ahead and start flank firing Warboss. If I can get wrapped and get on the flanks, that's all we need. And Chaotic says in the Discord at this time, I've got to pull back. I've got to pull back. I'm getting flanked. I'm getting reamed. So he's going to go ahead and pull back and form up right here. And as you can see, they're just marching more and more units. Good cannon fire. That was a great shot. That was not me because I'm still fixated over here with my mortars. But look at all the chevs. Chaotic did some heavy lifting for me in this battle. And I was extremely grateful for that. It does look like Warboss is trying to quickly shift his men. This battle is all over the place, and I keep moving. I know I've got the men, and he's starting to crumble. If I can keep caving that flank, I can push, and that's my whole goal. My army has not taken heavy damage as of yet. It's typically been 1st Corps and 17th Corps that's taken the brunt of the damage, and they're holding. They are doing good. Utopia's men have broke and came back. It looks like he has moved them to the rear to rest. Very good idea. Once they break, you want to let them rest for a while, because once they've broken once, they'll break again. Chaotic's trying to quickly shift some men. He was going after these cannons, it looks like. That didn't work too well with the canister. But valiant effort. Great effort. Warboss is just starting to cave, so I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to hard push. Right here I hear 10th Corps move hard, press. And you know, I'm taking some damage, but I'm giving a lot more than what I'm taking. So the only thing I can do, I'm just going to let my men push up. They're going to get in melee. That's fine. My men are still really fresh. These units, not so fresh. And it looks like he's going to try to counter with a ton of melee. And that's fine. We can take it. This was not a blob charge either. Blob charging does happen. This was not a blob charge. He was trying to relocate his men, and I literally marched right into him. Blob charging kind of breaks the mechanics of the game, so it's something we typically don't do. Don't get me wrong, it happens. It's normal. But here I am. I'm just pushing my men right into these units. Look at this. 4 units here stacked, and I just literally walked into them, breaking them. You know, there was not much he could do at this point. He tried, and I mean, Warboss was fighting hard. I'll give him that. He put forth one hell of an effort. And now, First Corps Chaotic seeing that Warboss is crumbling. So he's going to go ahead and try to take another stab at these cannons. And he's saying that in chat, you know, we got to get these cannons. These cannons are killing us. We've got to break these cannons. And, you know, I've got some men breaking too. My men are breaking just as much. And, well, again, wasn't paying attention because I was so heavily focused on them up there that these skirms went ahead and took out the rest of my mortars. So that's the end of my mortars. And I wish I hadn't lost them because they were coming in pretty handy. But that just goes to show you in battle, I mean, things can happen so quick. I completely forgot about them. My 55th Mass is finally starting to come back. But, you know, I'm not too worried about my cannons at this point because I know I've got the numbers. And that would be Warboss's general getting sniped by me and my men. As you can see, I've got numbers. I've got good numbers. Small losses. Very small losses. So I'm going to go ahead and try to link up and cover First Corps' left flank. Because now he's starting to get a ton of men marching right into his face. 17th Corps Utopia, he's covering a good chunk of this ground. And again, we're staying in the trees. We do not want to be in the open. Utopia is going to go ahead, or Chaotic's going to go ahead and try to cover this center field. This battle is all over, and all of these troops have broken. I know they're not coming back because they've been attritioned out. This unit has made it through, and it looked like they were going for a general charge on me. They didn't make it, though. My general lives to see another day. My men are linking up over here with First Corps. And that's the end of Warboss. And he jumps over into our Discord. And, good game. Good game. And we're like, well, it's not over yet. And he's like, yeah, my army's gone. What do you want me to do? I have no army. So, you know. Warboss, if you happen to see this, thank you for being so damn cool. Greatly appreciated playing this game with you. Looks like First Corps' 13th is getting some friendly fire. Oh! Heavy damage with the enemy cannon on First Corps. That was a hella good shot with the Manassas cannon. First Corps, though, he's holding pretty strong. This unit had broke and came back, and I don't think he's realizing 94th is firing into the back. This battle was so all over the place. And again, I can't talk to my men. So I'm trying everything I can to form up, help First Corps out, because First Corps helped me so much. So it was time that old Patriot replayed the favor, and I've still got my 4th New Hampshire back here in the rear just hanging out. Now, it does look like we've lost the majority of our cannons, except for Utopia. Utopia's still got heavy cannon support, which is great. The only drawback is Utopia did have to fall all the way back. Vicksburg Army did do hella damage, but he has reformed. He's got his men. He's going to march into open territory and try to link up over here on the right-hand side of First Corps, because Vicksburg is trying to swing. And where they're at right now, Vicksburg can swing and get right on the flank of First Corps, which not good. So this was an excellent play by Utopia, pulling all these cannons out into open field, perfect canister shot position. But let's get back over here where the juiciest part of the fighting is right now. War Boss is gone. I'm marching my 55th up. They're going to tangle with whatever's left right here to make sure that they don't return. I'm marching all my troops all the way through the lines. I have every single troop marching, and I keep hearing cannons, cannons, cannons. So I've got numbers. I've got the men. I'm going to push. Right here's where I know all of my units are in great shape. They have great men. I know I'm going to take heavy damage. I know I'm going to take heavy damage, but I've got the numbers. So the only thing I can do, I'm going to push. I'm going to push hard. I'm pulling all of my reserves. Every single solitary unit I have is going into this fight hardcore right now. And look at First Corps. Those cannons. Chaotic's doing everything he can to get his men straight into these cannons. We've got to break these cannons because, thank you, right now they are shredding everything. And I know First Corps is in danger. First Corps is in major damage. I'm not even in camera view. Oh, it's because my camera got moved. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, First Corps is taking heavy losses right now because they are trying like hell. And as you can see, the damage inflicted on First Corps right now. First Corps is getting hit in the mouth, and they're doing everything they can. But here comes 10th Corps to the rescue. I'm pushing, and right here I'm going to split my line because I know First Corps is going to have issues with these Confederate soldiers right here. They're tired. They've been getting hit in the face with canister. I know that most of these are going to break, so I'm routing. Looks like 5 units over here to cover, because I'm going to link up with Utopia over here with the 17th Corps. I'm going to link up and try to help. And as you can see, First Corps, they keep getting hit, smacked. I mean, and First Corps is everywhere. First Corps was everywhere in this battle. But here comes 10th Corps. We're going to clip right into these cannons, which thank God these cannons did not get a good volley fire into these men, because that would have broke them. And here we are. I see First Corps is good. I go ahead and shift. I'm pushing all my men. I'm going to get height. I'm going to get ground. And I'm going to start volley firing the hell out of these cannons. First Corps is getting all of their units back that have already been heavily fighting. Most of these units have been broken once and came back. Their morale is incredibly weak. I mean, their fresh status, 1 volley, broken. 1 volley, broken. And it's nothing that the players themselves have done. These men have been fighting non-stop hard. And as you can see, 10th Corps is just pushing. Now, I've got all of these units here, and I'm just going to encircle, but look at this. I see First Corps actually made it into these woods. And at this point in time, I realize First Corps does not need me over here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the bulk of my army that's nice and fresh, healthy, big numbers. And I'm going to march them right over here. And again, no one in the Discord can hear me. All I can do is click, move my men, text. Click, move my men, and text. Anybody who wants to play this mod, join the Discord. It's pivotal. It's vital that you are in the Discord because it helps every player so much. Now the good thing is, First Corps and I together pushing, they're not going to be able to break us. First Corps right now is going to be a meat shield. And I'm marching one unit on up to go ahead and take care of the Army of Vicksburg's men. First Corps is lined up. They have to stay back. They don't have a choice. And here it is. 10th Corps is moving into position. I'm going to finally give First Corps the relief that they need. And he has no rallies. So here I am. I'm quickly running my general up. Instantly popping a rally trying to help my ally out. My general, he's got the rallies. He's got the men. First Corps sees this. In the Discord, he's like, oh, 10th Corps is just going to march right through me and take my position. I've got you, 10th. I'm going to go ahead and hold fire. And he shifts his men on back. Now, the greatest thing I saw right here, First Corps is going to completely pull all of his men, reorganize. I'm going to take the slack up because if it hadn't been for First, I'd have had some mega damage. I'm going to take up all of this positioning. I'm going to link up with 17th Corps over here with Utopia. At this point, all you hear is, hey, Patriot's got this. He's got the numbers. All you have to do is hold. He can stand here and volley him down. And we have officially pushed all of the Confederacy except for this one damn skirm unit that's caused the most damage to me. Now, the greatest thing I saw here was I thought First Corps was just going to stand back, rest up, stay out of the fight for a minute and let me cover it. No. He quickly gets all of his men close to my general. I keep popping my rallies, and what's he do? He breaks his force, and he starts moving forward to give my men more support. He didn't even have to do that, but he did, and I am grateful for that. He sees all of my men. There's cannon over here. I'm not stopping. I'm going to push. I'm going to push hard. All of this is starting to break, and I know I have it. Now, most of these units came back. They were broken. That's why they're not moving right now. And you see I just barely clipped that. I don't even engage in a melee, and they break. Now, most of these men, however, fought hard. These units are the ones that went against the cannons, so they're tired. Their morale is shaken. But I've got mega positioning. 17th Corps starts to move in and cover my flank. I'm covering his flank. It's a great day to be a Union soldier. Vicksburg's just pushing non-stop against Utopia, and Utopia has pulled his cannons on back into the forest for cover. And right now, out of every Confederate army, it looks to be the Army of Vicksburg seems to be the strongest right now. And as you can see, man, First Corps is everywhere. First Corps was all over this damn map. My 55th Mass is finally starting to get up into the fight. My general's still back here just giving moral support. My men do not need my general on the front lines. First Corps moving 7 units over to fill this gap. I'm moving units over to plug this gap. I want to wrap. The more wrapping I can do, the more flanking fire I can get, the quicker I can break these units. Here comes more of my 10th Corps, 62nd Ohio. They're exhausted, but they've got the men. And at this point, I'm all over the map. I know I've got this side locked down, so I'm looking everywhere. Where is their troops? Where are they hiding? Where is there more at? My 13th Indiana over here just exhausted, still having at the cannons. My 62nd, I'm not even worried about stopping and volleying. I'm going to take the fire right to the face, and I'm going to march into them. I'm not going to charge. I'm not going to bayonet them. I'm just going to walk. Thank you, First Corps. First Corps to the rescue, solidifying my flanks. And look at these long-ass lines. And it's at this point I'm feeling pretty damn good. I'm like, you know, hey, we may have this. We may have this. I've got the numbers. I've got the men. I've got the superior positioning. We've got this. And I made some mistakes right around in this area because I was not watching over here. And you can't see them yet, but Vicksburg, everything that Vicksburg had that was breaking came back. And as you can see, they're marching. Okay. All these troops have broken, came back. Now he doesn't notice this yet because he's trying to form up and fight over here, but yeah, he's still got plenty of units over here hidden. And yep, he's bringing them over. Everybody's coming to face off against the 10th right now. These guys were tired, and I did not realize they got into a melee, which was not the best for my troops. My men were already exhausted. As you can see, I plowed right through these soldiers. I did take losses. Took about 100 men, but we're still breaking everything that gets thrown in front of the 10th Corps. Now thank God for 1st Corps, because me not paying attention allowed my 54th to break. It allowed my 85th to break. It allowed my 52nd to break. My whole side crumbled, and here's where I am starting to get dangerously outgunned. And if it hadn't been for 1st, we may have lost right here, because I blundered. I blundered bad. Thankfully, I'm seeing this. I quickly rush my general over and start popping rallies. I've still got the men. I've still got the numbers. But their morale is so low because of how much damage they have taken. 1st Corps marched over here to support 17th Corps. As you can see, I'm running my general straight into the thick of it. Come on, men. Don't be cowards. 1st Corps taking the slack. Thank you, because that right there would have ended my army. Vicksburg instantly breaking because of the amount of men 1st Corps had. My general's still right here.
Your general has fallen.
Boom. General dead. Rip general. Vicksburg, epic charge. As you can see, I'm going to pull my 62nd Ohio already up. I'm going to get them formed up so they can start firing. It started to become a very sad day for the 10th. And 1st Corps still has men. They're slowly coming back. Like 1st Corps had men everywhere. Just everywhere. My second South Carolina is still over here. I didn't realize that, or I went ahead and pulled them on up into the fight. But here we go. Men are starting to come back. And most of my men had already broken once and started to come back. Vicksburg's just charging my 55th. They don't want those men back, and who could blame them? The good thing is, you know, I still had some units. And every time I hear, your men are growing weary, sir, I quickly click and try to reform. That's all I can do at this point is re-click, reform, and hold a line. And without hesitation, I just send them right back into battle. Unfortunately, this one instantly rebroke when I issued the order to go back in. They were like, nope. Fuck you, General. We ain't doing that. 4 chevrons on this Vicksburg unit. Way to go, guys. 1st Corps still pushing. Taking up all the slack where I just crumbled. And my army literally crumbled. It doesn't even look like I have many men left on the field of battle. But we're not done yet. We're just going to keep pushing. Everybody starts to push right here. We got Utopia as the 17th Corps pushing. 1st Corps is pushing over here. 1st Corps is pushing over there. 1st Corps is going everywhere. 10th Corps is still breaking and running. But we are slowly getting our men back. 52nd Pennsylvania is coming back, so I'm going to march them right back up into the freaking fight. We're not ready to give up. We're not done. Still getting chevron after chevron. 17th boys over here. They're winded. They're tired, but they are breaking them. Give them hell, 17th. And it looks like they're chasing down these units that came back from the battle. Already suffering mega morale loss. Just chain routing after chain routing. And we're pushing. At this point, there's nothing else we can do but just continue the fight. It does look like 10th Corps is finally moving on up. I repositioned my men. I want to march over here and start taking care of these retreating troops of Army of Vicksburg. I've got a couple other units over here who have came back. My 2nd South Carolina was firing into this Virginia army that was just harassing the hell out of my back flank. And these skirms, they're still just back here in the rear. Looks like they're going after 17th Corps cannon now. And I mean, this battle is just all over the place. 17 minutes left on the battle. Let's see what happens. It's not looking too good for the army of the Union, but we're giving them a hell of a fight, and we are slowly encircling them when we're not breaking. And they got a cannon right back here in the rear. Now, is that just men or is that cannon? Nope, that is a cannon that has not even been unlumbered as of yet. 17th Corps cannon still back there in the woods, just firing volley after volley. Here comes 10th. Where's my 10th? Come on back, gentlemen. Tenth Corps got hammered hard. I think this is the first time I have ever played a battle. There goes more 10th Corps. This is the first battle I've ever played that I have literally faced off every single solitary army on the field. And we're losing. Utopia's lost his general. I've lost my general. First Corps lost their general, so the Union has no generals on the field, period. And Vicksburg is still standing over here just waiting. They're resting up, and I mean, they don't have to do much. Now, granted, we have lock, and these sharpshooters, or these skirmishers, are in the perfect firing position for that first New York 3-inch battery. Those sharpshooters proved to be quite the pain in the ass. Thankfully, 1st Corps still has quite a bit of units. Oh, did we crash? I hope we did not crash. Oh, we may have crashed. Very interesting. Looks like that's a general for the Confederacy. It is. Let's try to pause. Alright, well that's interesting. This replay may have just crashed. Let's just try to give it a few seconds here and let it catch up. 1st Corps is still pushing pretty hard on Vicksburg's position, and they are caving. We got 17th moving up to support 1st Corps in that monumental movement. Yeah, even the timer stopped. Aw, don't tell me this. Alright guys, well it looks like this has decided it's going to crash. So let's try to exit out of it and see. Let's see if this pops up the stats. It did not, so that's terrible. We made it 45 minutes into the stream. Long story short, the Union did prevail in this fight. I am not going to try to redo this one because I have so many. I'm not that good at editing, or I would just go ahead and do all that. But yes, the Union did prevail, and I will put the stats on the thumbnail. I was genuinely impressed with how good we did. Ended up that half of my army came back into the fight, and we did do really, really well. So, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back later today with another stream. Till then guys, have a good day, take care, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.